say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony Love, and we are about to get started. Remember, as promised, I'm gonna keep the pictures up over here. Since the lowdown, outrageously, what we call them, libtards, the ones that rah for DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. These are the ones that rah for the progressives, the one that never answer no questions whatsoever. I'm gonna put my camera up. They don't answer no questions, ladies and gentlemen, whatsoever. And this is why I stopped taking their questions until my questions get answered. And if you want to come up here and debate, you're gonna have to pay me. And that's exactly how it is. And I want them to go run and tell that, right? Other than that, let's go ahead and get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to cover today. Where's my camera at? I thought the need to want to jazz it up. I love jazz, but I wanted to jazz it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? There we go. Jazz it up. Oh, man. Boy, I tell y'all, man. But yeah, here it is right here. So I'm going to go ahead on and remove the backdrop and everything. I like that backdrop too. Nice, relaxing coffee, Let me go ahead and move this up out my way here. We go ahead and take that down for right now. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, while people coming into the room here, we got 30 people in here. I mean, I was smoking, but I got to give the acknowledgement to the mod squad first and foremost, though, So I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge you guys, though. You guys are doing a wonderful job and things. And then the people that have been returning too, you know who you are, like Dakota, and M. John, right? I haven't heard from Big John, man, but Big John, we miss you here. We miss you, Big John. I was going to say, Texas Jane, we miss you.
I would like to give a shout out to the mod squad, starting with Black Guy 9, Jason Beatrice, that is a member, Brian Reedy, that is a member, Coconuts Are Real, that is a member, Stewart 2004, Texas Jane with her 6 shooters, that is a member, Man USA 1, that is a member, Domish 3332, Denise Farmer, Cheryl Schultz, Dana, Slicknick 68, Not Your Mama But Joe Mama, that is a member, Omega, Howard, special thanks to Tanya Zimmer, and Paul Ace.
Okay, so I appreciate it, and many others that are mods as well. Was it Bud Russell and things? Yeah, and let me see here. Yeah, we got a few others though too, man. Oh yeah, we got Deja Porter, and things. She's proud to be a MAGA conservative Trump supporter, and she doesn't make any excuses whatsoever by it. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, as we about to go into this thing here, let me see here. So I'm going to keep this photo up. In fact, let me go ahead and acknowledge a few more of the victims of the failed lowdown, leftist lunatics that voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, right? Scamming all over the place, though. They don't have the decency to acknowledge these girls and stuff like that. And then all of them, and some of them are teenagers, right? So as we said, Jocelyn Nugare, she was only 12 years old, and I really don't even like to read what happened. But we all know what it is. So out of the respect of the family, I'm not going to go into that. However, Megan Bowles is another one. She was 37 years old, right? And she was out of Illinois, and things like that. So these are Americans. And what happened to them is just outright unexcusable, right? Let me see here. We have Ivory Smith that they don't talk about. She was only 7 years old. Can you believe this, guys? 7 years old. And what a reason, and this is involved in Texas, right? Another Venezuelan, right? Illegal alien, not migrant, illegal alien. Let's get the verbiage right, right? This shouldn't have never happened, right? And we're going to stay on this topic, right? Because I want these DMs on the left, the radical, insane TDS, libtards, you got to defend this. And I want you to defend this, and we ain't going to talk about nothing else. If you want to talk and get my attention, you better be prepared to defend this. This was all under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Sleepy Joe, Jim Crow Joe, right, and Kamala Harris. This was their administration, their failed administration, and how they have failed America, right? Boy, I tell you. But we're going to go ahead and get into it, though, ladies and gentlemen. The cooking is about to start to happen. Get your popcorn and stuff, because this is going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride, you know. Got some information here that I have found out and stuff. But before I get into it, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to point out something, because we're going to get down to it, though, too, you know. We're going to cook they behind so bad, they're going to wish that they never came in here. They're going to lose this election. So other than that, though, what's going on, you guys may or may not have heard, Spain has done it. You know, their whole political party has gone far left. This is the insane, right? And I want to go ahead and read some of this to you, right? According to Marco Rubio, right, publicly criticized Spain as NATO's ally. They probably won't be in NATO very much longer for this stunt. For denying the U.S., right, use Spanish airspace, this is why we in this situation with them in the first place, and jointly operated bases, Rota and Moron, right, during the operations during the Iran, right? Y'all remember that conflict? He called this decision disappointing, right? And what else? Question the value of NATO as the ally can refuse bases, right? Right when the U.S. needs them, ladies and gentlemen. And it was said that the U.S. would need to review the relationships after the conflict. Spain's government under Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, right? He has openly rejected the U.S. request to publicize and refusal, right? Number two, Trump's trade threat, right? July 26th, remember when it went down? And many of you have too, right? At the NATO summit, Trump ordered Treasury Secretary Scott Bassett to cut him off all trade with Spain, including visits. He called Spain a waste cause, terrible partner, and hopelessness, right? Right? Officials began preparing a menu of possible Spain produce, right? Products from potential embargoes, right? That means a threat order under review rather than a fully implemented travel ban. No formal nationwide entry, right, ban on Spanish passports holders have been announced or enacted. Not yet, right? Because I checked. Other related measures, not Spain Pacific, Rubio imposed visa bans for 5 Pacific European individuals. We knew it was coming, and it would have to be done, right? Here it is, mostly linked to tech regulation and disinformation groups, right? That's why Greta, that old ugly girl, Greta Thunberg, that's why she couldn't get in here. She's radical as fuck. We don't want her in America. Excuse my French, you know? You know the one with the boy haircut when she was a little girl talking about climate change and all this other kind of stuff, right? You know, that one, right? The groups include the former UN commissioner, right? What's that? Tyree Benton, right? None of these were Spanish citizens or Spain worldwide policies. There have been reports of long processing times for some Spanish student visas, right? Spain remains in the visa waiver, right, programs, the ESTA. Spanish citizens can still apply for the ESTA for short-term, right, short visit, tourist, business stay, though final administration have always at the discretion of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Remember, that's the key word, ladies and gentlemen. It's always at the discretion of the U.S. Customs, right, and Border Protection. They don't have automatic. It's to their discretion. And if you come over here, we will expect for you not to get into protest, not to bash the president or anybody else, right? You are a visitor, right? You are not a citizen, right? You do not have that right according to the Constitution, and you will get kicked out of America, right? If you do so, right? So you don't want to do that. Current status, as of July 2026, official Spanish government travel advised continue to state there are no Pacific entry restrictions. And I want to put that out there, not for now, for Spanish-speaking citizens traveling to the U.S., right? Beyond normal rules, right? The valid biometric passport and the ESTA or visa. These are the things that you must have in order to enter in America. We already know they were allowed to come over here because we had the FIBA Cup, the World Soccer and everything. Many of them came over here. It wasn't no problem as long as they had their paperwork, And then for the most part of it, I haven't heard any type of anti-anything from them because they came over here enjoying soccer. Right? And some of them never visited America before, And I remember I showed y'all before maybe 4 or 5 live streams I did where how they enjoyed themselves. All of them European, but they enjoyed themselves, right? Bottom line is that Rubio and Trump have been extremely critical of Spain's government over NATO, right? The burden sharing basis access, right? Remember how they did us dirty? And the migration policies and the trade restrictions are under active, right, consideration. However, there is no implemented policies that ban Spain citizens from entering into the United States, right? So there that is. So after we talked about that, right? So we're going to go ahead and go down further here, though. And I have all of the girls under Joe Biden, right, under his administration, how these girls like Laken Riley, she was 22 years old. Right, you got Rachel Moorhan, 37. Some of you guys see the pictures up over here. And this is for my detractors, my haters, right, and my trolls, right, because they would never answer questions, though, because they got low IQ and they got an attention span of a goldfish, right? Jocelyn Nugare, right? She was 12 years old. Elizabeth Medina, she was 16 years old. Kayla Hamilton, right? She was only 20 years old. And Megan Bose, 37 years old. She was the oldest. She was 37. There's 2 that was 37. Rachel Morin, 37, and Megan, 30. No matter how old or young they are, they all lives was cut down because of the Biden-Kamala-Harris policies. And you guys going to live with that for the rest of your life. Any content creator that is MAGA, that support Trump, I want you to do what I do, right? Put this up as a shield of shame, right, for what they have done, and none of them talked down on it. You seen yesterday when some of y'all was in here. What did they do? They ran from the topic. They talked about everything else like they normally do because they are cowards, ladies and gentlemen, and they don't stand on principle, right? They don't stand on faith. Right? And some of these people are godless people. That's why they act and behave this way, right? Boy, I tell you, man, the roasting shall begin. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Ivory Smith, she was only 7 years old. And many of you have children. You have little boys and little girls, right? That's why I was asking them the question. What did they do? They ran from it, right? Like they always do, right? That's why they will never get my attention ever again, right? Because of that, right? So there it is. So therefore, these are individual documented cases, right? Not the complete census, right? But these are the documented ones that can reach headlines, right? The actual number of such crime is higher than the high-profile examples that will receive national attention, but lower than some viral claims that inflated totals without verification. And I can respect that, right? Immigration status is confirmed in the case above, right? Via ICE statements, right? Court records, right? Official reporting. Not every crime by a non-citizen involves someone entering into our country illegally, right? After 2021. And not every illegal immigrant, I would say this, alien, is a criminal. Here it is. I beg to differ. Because when you enter into this country, you are illegal, right? That's why I got to go in and do because some of this stuff don't get it right with their reporting. Some of it's a little bit more halfway. But what they're saying is that, I mean, you coming here illegal, right? But they're saying, oh, he coming into the country, but he didn't commit no crime, so that makes him not illegal. No, it's not. He's illegal as you know what, as two left shoes, right? Because once again, you have to be vetted. You have to go through the proper birthright pathway to citizenship, right? We have to know your intentions, who you are. And you have to be sworn in like everybody else. You don't get a chance to cut the line, jump the line, right? You got to stay in line like everybody else. So therefore, to remain in Mexico will stand as of right now. They will remain in Mexico until we can find out what's going on. And my suggestion has been before, we only want people in STEM, right, that already have a degree. Instead of taking stuff away, we want these people educated, right? We want people to have skin in the game so that makes sure there's a guarantee that they don't come out here and commit these crimes, right? That's what we want, and I believe that's what we're going to get, right? We already talked about the veteran truckers, and shout out to the veteran truckers, the truck drivers, the veteran, military, ex-military. Shout out once again. Trump is giving the veteran haulers, right, the opportunity to drive on our highways and byways, man. Congratulations once again to all our military people that we acknowledge in this room. You know, and you guys deserve it. Congratulations. To get these non-speaking, can't read English. I mean, they don't realize they driving a vehicle. It's a weapon, right? Tons and tons and tons of a big weapon, right? And we want you out of here, and we're going to deport you out of the country, man. America first, ladies and gentlemen. America first. Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Okay, so now that we covered that, wanted to get that out, and we're going to be talking about them more often, and this is what it is, though. See, when they come in here try to troll, man, I just destroy them, man. Off of their bull stuff. They BS logic, man. Oh, my goodness, man. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to get into the main core. Let me take a look, peek into the room here, see who's in here from my mod squad and stuff. We got Black Guy 9. We got Cheryl Schultz. Go ahead, though. Cheryl Schultz, Black Guy 9. Right? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. You know, coconuts are real. We got Paula in here. Beautiful Paula as well. Beautiful Cheryl. Y'all know what y'all be doing. That's what you get for the ladies. We got Jerry Howie in the house. Go ahead, Jerry. Welcome back, sir. Jerry, welcome back to you. Let me see it. We got Happy Mac. Happy Mac, I got to put you back on, Happy Mac. I remember you before, man, on here. Man, I got to take care of that, Happy Mac. Just remind me, Happy Mac, because Happy Mac is a mod. Happy Mac, I got your, man, remind me, Happy Mac, and I'll put you back on, man. Yep, we got, let me see here. I knew something. I looked at Happy Mac's, I said something don't look right. Sorry about that, Happy Mac. You ain't the only one that got unmodded. Sorry. All right, let me see here. All right, let's see who else. I'm just going to acknowledge my mods first, my mod squad. Let me see here, the mod squad. Everybody got a nickname for their squad, right? Here it was called the mod squad. Some of you guys have been around in the 60s. That was my mother's favorite TV show, is the Mod Squad. Coconuts Are Real says, cook, Tony, cook. You got that right. I'm going to be cooking they behind again today, boy. I miss Mr. Booski. Mr. Booski, I know you a ninja watcher, man, but Mr. Booski, shout out to Mr. Booski, man. They did Mr. Booski wrong, man. I text Mr. Booski and I told Mr. Booski, you more welcome to come back, man. Won't nobody kick you out of here, Mr. Booski, and things. So let me take a look at it here. Look like all my mods are here, and many more is going to show up, man. You know what I'm saying? My mods are ready. Before we get started, let me give the ground rules of the actual channel again. Make sure that we all on the same wavelength, right? Let's go ahead and get it.
Attention all trolls. Please refrain from using harsh language and threats of violence. All violators will be blocked from the chat. Thank you very much, Chandria.
And that means swearing, cussing, especially F-bombs and all the rest of that stuff. It will not be tolerated. We got Bud Russell in the house. Bud Russell. Yeah, I knew somebody else was there. We got Bud Russell. Appreciate you. I appreciate you for showing up. And we're going to get into it, man, because you know I love cooking these fools, you know. And we're going to go ahead on and do it, though, man. Watch them run. They run like they always do. Cowards, right? Here we go, folks. So, again, if you're new here, my name is Tony Love, and I thank you for being a part of Some Random Guy Speaks. Let's get it, though, right? Okay. All right, so here it is, though. We're talking about the Democratic Socialists of America, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're talking about. Once again, right? We're going to break down the 10 points under what the DSA believes, and then we're going to talk about the communists, right? And their 10-point system, which is the Communist Manifesto. I've done this before, but we're going to do it again, right? Therefore, our opposition will be trapped. I see you have fallen into my little trap. But this is going to break it for them. And I want them to defend this, right? There you go. Here we go. So the DSA, right? America's largest socialist organization, right? You probably heard of them, right? They have elected people in Congress, and more recently, one of their members, which is Zoran Mondummy, right? Because the mayor of New York, he became the mayor of New York, right? No surprise there, you know, because a lot of these people in New York and things, a lot of young people, might have been some millennials and zennials that voted for him. And, you know, they don't really know the history. Something like socialism sounds good to them, but they don't really teach this stuff in schools no more. And this is why we have channels like my own, right? The DSA likes to call itself a democratic socialist, right? They exist. They are not communists in the full sense, but I'm gonna bridge that thread and stuff where they actually are in time, right? I always said that socialism is a soft, what we call a soft stage for them to get people hooked in, and they're going to bait and switch it over to communism, right? We always seen the history of this, right? They exist, right? But internal documents in recent reporting have raised some serious questions about how they talk about China and the Chinese Communist Party. Boy, we're going to get into it. We have found out, I said this yesterday, that we're going to talk about this in this special trip that Zoran Mondummy and them went over there to China. Well, it's going to get good. According to the meeting minutes obtained by Newsweek and covered by outlets like New York Post, members of the DSA, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention now, was an international committee, and China worker groups have discussed it, a building closer ties with China's Communist Party officials, ladies and gentlemen. Official. So what in the hell does socialist be hanging out with communists unless they are communists too? And I want my detractors to back it up, right? Here's your opportunity, right? So the question again about how they talk about China and the Chinese Communist Party, right? According to this meeting, this meeting minutes obtained by Newsweek, right? We talked about this once again. Outlets like the New York Post, right? And the members of the DSA International Committee and the China working groups, ladies and gentlemen, have discussed it, building closer ties, like I said before, with China, right? Communist Party officials. They frame it as anti-imperial. Watch the slick words here. In those same discussions, some members argue the group should stay away from topics like Beijing. Think about this. Consider sensitive China threats towards Taiwan. They telling DSA that you can't, because they know you cannot win on these footings, right? Stay away, ladies and gentlemen, is what they're saying, like they do now. Stay away from certain types of topics, because that's the thing. The DSA, the progressives, they do not have an equal footing when it comes down to conservatives like ourselves on a one-on-one debate. You know what I'm saying? They'll be destroyed and they know it, right? So China is threats towards Taiwan, the crackdown in Hong Kong, right? And the treatment of Muslims in Xinjiang, right? They talk about this stuff, right? These are the things, right? They crack down. We're talking about the Cold Pink co-founder, Jody Evans, right? Remember this woman? I talked about her before. Radical as you know what, on the far left. She support DSA. Remember Hassan Piker, right? These people, this is another one, right? You know Hassan Piker, that idiot, right? Here it is. It is a list of them, right? These are your DSA, and there's many others, right? The brief DSA members and advise them to stay out of the weeds, right? And focus on the points that are easier to sell about China. This whole thing is about China. Stay away from CCP propaganda stuff, right? Don't talk about Taiwan, right? Don't talk about Hong Kong. Don't talk about anything that is considered negative about China, right? We got to sell China, right? China got to be, oh, come and visit China. No, thank you. I have no plans in going to China, No. I would advise you not to visit over there as well. And there's some other reasons as to why, right? So going back to it, DSA has also run monthly political education, right? Seminars, right? On modern China and lessons for U.S. socialists. One speaker claims that China has a strong democracy and that reducing inequity, is the number one goal in the Chinese Communist Party. Critics point out those sessions largely skip over the restriction of free speech, surveillance, and authoritarian realities, right? They have a system which is a, It's one of those systems over there. It's, what do they call it? You have the star rating system, but that's basically what it is in China, right? And it's geared on how good you are. They were trying to implement it here in America, but they got electric eyes, surveillance, watching everything. The CCP in China controls everything. This is why the people in China are so docile, right? They are totally being watched on everything. If you criticize Xi Jinping, you will go up missing, or your family may go up missing, right? These are the actual facts, right? That the DSA been told not to talk about real China, right? They want to dress it up, even though it has loosened up a bit, but it's still under a communist mighty iron fist, right? That's exactly what's going on behind the red wall, right? For those, and I got friends from China, right? You can never pinpoint down a person from China. You can never get them to criticize Xi Jinping. You can never they would never talk to you about real China, because even the citizens, the international students, right? And others, right? I got a friend of mine right now. He's an American citizen, but he's not allowed to talk about Xi Jinping because his family would come up murdered. When they go back to China, they're put through a 14-day, what they call like a debriefing, right? Because this is why we wanted to shut down the actual citizen, birthright citizenship. Because when Chinese women come over here pregnant, they can have their child. And when they have their child, what do, right? They'll go ahead and send their child back to China to be actually brought in the brainwashing, right? Being conditioned to accept all of the real China stuff. And this is how they get programmed, ladies and gentlemen, right? There's one thing I want you, I'm not saying I'm talking about majority of them, right? The ones that have a lot of skin in the game back home in China, right? They're going to always pick China first, right? They have to, because their families are at home, right? And they're not allowed to speak out on real issues and real things. Haven't you noticed when they over here, they almost have to act like they're indivisible? Stay out of politics, right? Do not engage. Do not talk about anything. It's okay to talk about Trump as being bad, but you are never to criticize Xi Jinping, right? And that's what they wanted to set up over here. You guys are seeing it, right? And their backers and the big time money, their super PAC and donors is coming out of China. We're going to get into that, ladies and gentlemen. So I just wanted to bring that up, right? So here it is. More recently, a number of people identified as DSA or DSA International Committee members signed a public pledge for a group called Friends of Socialist China. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Think about this. I'm not making this stuff up, right? The pledge says that they resolve to support, right, defend and build understanding about Chinese socialism. This is nothing more than a think tank that they put together a long time ago. That's why they had that meeting. Zoran Dummy went over there, and along with a few others, right? I don't know if you guys knew this, but this was a meeting that they had. Wasn't secret about it. They're just telling you flat out what it is, because you see in the head come out of the sand now. And this monster snake, or whatever you want to call it, is the Democratic Socialists of America. They are not hiding it no more. This is why it's so important, ladies and gentlemen, to take your butt down there to the polls and vote, right? Because we want to vote them out. We don't need them in our government anymore, right? They letting you know who they are pledging to, and it's China, ladies and gentlemen. As Trump say, China. Yes, exactly what it is, right? No one inside of the DSA is on board. The member of the International Committee who shared, right, the minutes to say, quote, "This isn't what I signed up for. I imagine it not what a majority of members sign up for." That person pushed back against the idea and avoidingly discussion of Chinese people, right until the American imperialism is defeated, right? Others reported shut that dissent down, right? Dissent down. This is what they were saying, right? So this is what it's about. American imperialism under Donald Trump. That's what they're selling to China, and they're also selling it to the DSA, right? That's what they consider under Trump, right? But we got their number, ladies and gentlemen. We got their number, right? So here it is. So here's the core issue. The DSA markets itself as a democratic and a focus, right, on workers' rights and openness, right? Yet part of the organization appears willing to soft pedal and avoid criticism under authoritarianism, right? One party stated when it conflicts with the anti-U.S. narrative, right, you can support better wages, healthcare, and housing without treating the Chinese Communist Party as a model or something that must be defended. Those are not the same thing. If this organization claims value in democracy and free debate, it should be what? To talk about honestly about human right abuse, right, and authoritarian control. No matter which government is doing it, filtering language to protect the CCP. And that's the main thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is all about protecting the CCP, right? We got a bigger enemy. They still there. China never went away, right? Because they were promised to be the superpower under the global parasitical elite class. You have to understand this. This is not just a move from China itself. You got to look at who funded China, who pushed China up, who gave China the missiles, right? Who made China the number 2 superpower? They used to be number 1 until Trump came along, right? Boy, I tell you, ladies. And for y'all that are new, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button too, because this information going to not only help just people in this room, but it's also going to spread the message out to everybody, right? This is about patriotism, right? This is about loving God and country, right? When it comes down to protecting American rights, right? And we are giving great pushback, and the Chinese and the CCP knows it, right? They see our channels, ladies and gentlemen, right? But right now, we are in a better position to fight back. All I'm saying is to support the channel. And I appreciate you guys for being on. Now, we're going to go into the communist stuff first, right? In fact, before I do the communists, let's do the socialists first. And then you be the judge, right? What sounds like what? So we're going to go into it. Just give me one moment here. We're going to go into it. I'm just looking for my notes. Are y'all all right in here? You know what I'm saying? Shoot, we about to get the, boy, you ain't seen the cooking yet, but here we go. Well, we're going to talk about the core beliefs. It's 10 of them, 10 points. This is to summarize all this stuff because they try to make it so difficult. It's not, right? This is what it is, right? So number one, capitalism is rooted as a problem according to the DSA, right? Private ownership and major industries, we're talking about banks and housing, creates inequality, exploitation, and crisis, right? The economy should ultimately be ran democratically, right, to meet human needs and not private practice. I went over some of this stuff before for those that have been around, right? And some of you guys know what I'm talking about exactly, right? And this is where the problem is. They're saying that because they are against free enterprise, they don't like competition. Because more entrepreneurs, there's more entrepreneurs in the United States than anywhere in the world. Facts, right? Entrepreneurs solve issues that the government don't have to deal with, right? That's why they give them incentives when it comes down to taxes, because they do all of the heavy lifting so the government doesn't have to. But as opposed to this socialist crap stuff, you know, well, here it is, right? Public and social ownership. Here are the key sectors. Major industries, energy, healthcare, housing, and finances, right, should move under the democratic public or worker control, not pure free market private ownership. You are seeing it in real time with my dummy, right? He's doing it with that state-controlled supermarket. They don't pay no taxes. They don't have to pay no rent on that land, right? They have taken it away from somebody that was private owned. You see, this is why, in my opinion, Trump is allowing this happen to wake the people up before they start to make a move, right? We are seeing it at the state level, in New York, and soon you'll probably seeing this stuff follow elsewhere in order to wake the people up. The people and the trolls and all the rest of that stuff come in this room, they cannot defend this. You know, they cannot. All they're going to do is try to run the argument that socialism is not communism. And this is BS, though. And that's one of the reasons why you got your boy here to go ahead and bust it all down, all right? So here that is. Number 3, strong redistribution of wealth. Because they're going to take it out of the hands of private ownership. And what are they going to do? Give it to the state. This is what they always have done. Heavy, progressive taxes on high income. That's how they're being taxed right now. Haven't y'all noticed since my dummy started doing this, the businesses started leaving New York? Ain't nobody lying on this dude. Y'all, you got to do F about what he's talking about. Watch his actions, right? What about the wealth and corporations? Expand social programs funded by who? Taxing the rich. You hear this all the time. This is in their core belief systems. They ain't running away from it. This is what they believe on. They've been interviewed, even by that Chevalier woman, right? They have interviewed her, and she went right down the list. She said, I'm 100% agreement. This is the black woman here, biracial or whatever she is. She hates interracial dating. She said it. She said she wants to get rid of interracial dating, right? These are how radical these people are. I don't believe in that at all. I believe people should love who they love. How dare her to tell somebody who they can and cannot be with, right? That's why they're going to lose this midterms, right? Because this crap that I'm reading down the line is what they believe in. And if you actually believe this with your Trump derangement syndrome, man, you are the bigger fool, right? The bigger idiot and everything else. Everything deserved, it should come back to you in trifold, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm praying for it. Other than that, number 5, worker powers and unions. Strengthening labor unions, support strikes, push the workspace democracy, and eventually give workers more control over the product. So here that is. They're saying that the workers are going to be in control more. You know, for the stupid, that sounds good. But what they don't understand is the people at the top that's going to be controlling that factory, controlling these businesses, right? Yeah, they say that you get a little say-so, right? We're going to reduce it, down to the 32-hour week or whatever they're going to plan on doing, man. Don't believe the hype, man. Number 6, the Green New Deal, climate planning. They still believe in this fraud. This has always been a sham and a scam, right? And large-scale government planning of the economy to rapidly phase out old fossil fuel and restructure the industry under public direction, right? They did it with Biden. Biden shut it down. He pushed for the new Green Deal. That's why they had all these incentives with these stupid solar panels on the top of their roofs and everything like that, man. You know, and that's what they were pushing, though. Yeah, you get a free this and that for 1 year. You get a deduction. Y'all remember that stuff, man? It was just absolutely ridiculous, right? Number 7, the abolishment of sharp reduction, right? Reduction of private landlord power. You guys are seeing this right now. Housing should not be threatened primarily as a commodity for profit. Rent control, public housing expansion, right? And limits on what? Real estate speculations are priorities, right? Here it is. You already heard what my dummy said he was going to be doing. My dummy said that he was going to take private ownership of these, he said, scum lords. It ain't going to stop with just scum lords. That's just a simple word to justify what he's doing. And stupid people and the knuckle draggers, right? And the TDS people are like, yay! You know, that's what he's going to be doing. We winning, right? What they don't really know is that they're laying the trap for him, though. This is how a big bait and switch. The way that you catch a bunch of rats or a bunch of mice and stuff, you have to lay a trap down and put food on it. That's going to be the enticing point to get them on the trap. And as soon as that trap come down on their neck, bam, it's going to be too late, right? That's exactly what's going on. International versus anti-imperialism, right? This is number 8. Strong opposition, right, to the United States foreign policy. We're talking about the military spending and alliances, right? This is the area where DSA drawn, right, the most criticism. Some chapters, right, are leaders, right, treat criticism of China, Cuba, Venezuela, right, and other CCP as imperialists, right, or off limits, while defending or soft penalty for those government records. And it's telling you right here, ladies and gentlemen, China been behind this thing the whole time, because this is how a lot of our leaders got bought. They've been running a anti-campaign against and going against the United States of America until it brings it down to its knees. And this is why it's important that we have somebody like Trump. Trump has stopped them. They hate Trump. That's why they pay these propaganda media. Most of them are controlled by China. That's the deep money pockets that have been funding them, right? Along with the globalists, right? So therefore, they put out these anti-Trumps. They put out these Trump smears and stuff like that. And being against Trump, hate Trump. And the people that are in this room that are my what we call the trolls, right? TDS, they don't even understand and realize that they are under a propaganda machine controlled, because a lot of them watch that mainstream news. They think it's real news, which is really sad, right? All right, so number 9. Electoral strategies and mass movements, right? Run and support candidates like AOC, Bernie Sanders, Zoran, my dummy, and et cetera, right? Inside the Democratic Party, while also the building independent power through protests, unions, and community organizing, right? The long-term goal is to transform or replace the existing system. This is them under the DSA. Did you hear what I just read? Right? It's the goal is to transform or replace the existing systems. Think about that. So we have the Constitution. They want to take that away. The freedom of speech, right? Freedom of religion and the freedom of the press. They want to transfer that. They don't have such thing in China. They don't. What about the Second Amendment right? They are threatened because America's #1 leading when it comes down to guns and gun manufacturing. Almost every citizen damn near should have a gun. But there are certain states and areas where it's high, like Texas, right? I mean, abundantly amounts of guns, right? And militia groups too, if we want to go there. And all this is possible through the Constitution. And this is what they want to replace, ladies and gentlemen, right? Number 10, class struggle frames, right? Look at this. Politics is primarily understood as a conflict between the working class and the capitalist class, right? Identity issues are often folded into this class of analysis, but the core remains economic and systematic change towards socialism. So here it is. They want to get rid of all of the working class under the capitalist class. They want to get rid of it. They want to push a new system, as we already said, right? We're talking about a system towards socialism. It's just a soft word to communism, right? Boy, I tell you, right? Now, how does this relate to Communist Manifesto, the 10 points? Many DS goals overlap with who? Marxism. You know Karl Marx, right? Right? Right, here it is. So the public ownership, progressive taxation, central planning, elements, free education, etc. The DSA version is a softer in language and emphasize on democracy and elections. But at the end, the vision, the social ownership of the means of production and the fading of private capital power. It's the same direction as to what the socialists believe. That's why the people that are the enemies of America, I truly believe, they come in my room, control opposition. They try to change the narrative. They try to deflect, right? They try to spin the narrative to get us to stop talking about this. That's why they won't debate this. That is one of the main tactics that they do, other than asking a bunch of nonsensical questions that don't relate to what's going on right now. Now you can see the bigger picture as to their strategy, as to what they do, right? You got so many of these paid for so-called influencers for the left that are being paid by dark money, Soros and other people. And I wouldn't believe it's China, right? Excuse me. So there that is. So the important, right, distinction of the DSA itself makes what they say democratic socialism keeps political democracy and civil liberties, while the 20th century communist states, right, the USSR, right, the Mao of China, Mao Zedong, right, this is China where it was pure communist, and it's still pure communist. Like I said, nothing hasn't changed a whole lot in China. They've just been allowed to have a little something, but not very much, because they're controlled no different than under Mao Zedong, man. That's for real. Where authoritarian, right? Critics argue that once you concentrate economic power in the state or the people, the political freedom tends to erode the points of DSA, reluctant to strongly criticize today authoritarian, right? Socialists, leaning regimes, right? Leaning regimes, right? Especially China, as evidence of that tension, right? Boy, this is one thing. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. What happens, right? This is what it is, though, because we're going to talk about it. Boy, I tell you, So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about, let's go and run it down for communism, right? Hold on for a minute. I'm going to run it down. Just one moment. Where's my notes at again? I was looking at something else. Hold on for a minute. And then once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button if you like my content. Also, smash that like button as well, though, because other people would appreciate it a whole lot, right? They really would, So let me see here. Talked about that. But yeah, I basically read about the communism stuff, Mao Zedong and everything. Let me see here. Let me see here, the Communist Manifesto. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and do that too. I didn't read that one though. I did the other one under the Democratic Socialists. Okay, here we go. These are the 10 measures listed for the Communist Manifesto. You guys remember, if you've been around and followed me long enough, I went over some of this stuff already. Number 1, abolish, right, the property, right, in land and applications of all rents and land to the public proposed, right? Number 2, heavy progressive or graduated tax income. Number 3, the abolishment of all rights of inheritance, man. This stuff is very, very important. This is what the communists believe. It's mirroring socialism, man. In time, this is what's going to manifest once they take control. Number 4, confiscate of the property of all immigrants as labeled as rebels. This is something to be said, right? Oh my goodness. So you see it, this is what my dummy trying to do now, right? Number 5, the centralization of credit in the hands of the state by means of national banks and state capital in an exclusive monopoly. So they want to take centralization of everything, right? We talking about credit, banks, everything is going to be under one system, pretty much like how China is ran right now. Centralization of the means of communications, transportation, hear me now, in the hands of the state. Listen, right? Listen, this is why these guys are running like cowards, though, because they're not going to deal with this head on, right? Extensions of factories and instruments of product owned by the state and bring it into cultivation of wastelands and the improvement of the soil, generally in accordance with the common plan, whatever that common plan is. And this is exactly why we're talking about things under the factories, right? We're talking about agriculture. We're talking about everything controlled by the state, right? At the state level, right? Equal liability of all work, establishment of industrial armies, right? Especially for agriculture. I said that before I even read it. I want you guys to be clear on what I'm talking about here, right? This is the thing. My detractors, right? They will not deal with the topics at hand, right? What I'm reading to you guys is their core system between both. It's just going to be the bait and switch. The Democrats have never been able to deliver. All promises have been all lies, all for control, right? And they don't budget itch. They don't budget at all. They overspend and they want more money and overspend, throw it in these useless programs, which is nothing more than a front anyway. Come on now. Number 9, combination of agriculture with manufacturing industries, gradual abolition, right? Yeah, abolition. Let me see it. Okay, hold on for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on for one moment. Boy, I've been reading so much. Just give me one moment. I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
Abolition.
Abolition, there we go. Of all distinctions between town and country by more equitable distribution of the populace over the country, right? Number 10, free education for all children in the public schools, right? Look at this here, boy. Free, you hearing it? You heard this stuff before. My dummy even said it, right? Oh, man. Boy. Oh, man, boy, I tell y'all, man. We talking about children, factories, laborers in the present form, right? Combinations of education with industrial products, etc., ladies and gentlemen. These points are near the end of the second section of the Communist Manifesto, right? This is Marxism. You guys are seeing it, and you're starting to see that they do overlap, you know? We know what we were saying by calling them out as being communists. It's just they trying to push back. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so as I digress, get myself a drink of water. Hope everybody is having a great time in here. I'm going to address the room very shortly because I think I got some other things to get off my chest as well, too. But you see that what it is what it is, right? We are dealing with China, right? And China been involved with our elections when it come to, and other countries too. They've been involved with the 2020 elections, right? They were involved there, and this is another thing though too. Trump has so many options to shut this thing down, right? Because we're talking about a national security breach and risk to our elections and our future elections if it's not controlled and curtailed now, right? That's what has to happen, right? So as I said, this stuff here is happening in real time, right? This is what we're dealing with. We've been dealing with China, right? And we've been dealing with the deep state. We've been dealing with the parasitical global elite class, right? This is all intertwined with each other, though. And what we are seeing is that Trump is fighting this with the patriots, of course, right? They are fighting this, right? This is why we already know John Thune the buffoon is nothing but a globalist that's being controlled as a nothing but a rhino, Republican in name only. He's through and through. It's just he has shared the same viewpoint like Mitch McConnell and all the rest of them, right? When it come down to nothing but Democrats that's being controlled by the parasitical global elitists, right? He's one. You could just tell. That's why one of these things that he be talking all this stuff, how, it's just not enough evidence and stuff when everybody been calling and ringing this guy and so forth. We know that he's being controlled, all these hand gestures. You know how they communicate and stuff. They do all the all this stuff. They do all the hand gestures to communicate to the globalists, hey, I'm on your side. That's why you watch their hands and you do these hand gestures and stuff, right? Only they know to say that I'm in line with the program. That's all translation. That's all they're saying. And John Thune the buffoon is the same way. I'm in line with what the establishment want. They get, right? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these people, ladies and gentlemen, have been compromised. And this is another thing that you don't hear a lot. This is why with Epstein Island, right? People and a lot of these politicians that went on that island, they've been compromised. Judges, politicians, we're talking about CEOs of companies. We even talking about a lot of the people that have been in Hollywood that have been on that island. Little St. James, you see what I'm saying? This is one of the reasons. It's nothing but a Diddy situation, but on a larger scale. Because when you're invited to these parties and when you partake in some of the things that people should not be doing, especially with underage children, and this is all for what? Control, ladies and gentlemen. Control. Because when they get you in a compromising position, underage children, whatever the case may be, this is what it is, though. And they don't want this information to come out. That's why they've been pushing great propaganda. They want it on Trump. Don't talk about nobody else. Don't talk about Clinton. Don't talk about Obama's. Don't talk about anybody else. Hillary and all of them. Don't talk about them. Keep it on Trump. Keep the emphasis on Trump. Keep the spotlight on Trump. They don't see, and that's the thing about it, right? That's the whole thing about it. We done went over that thing so many times, but they use this as, it's a poor tactic to divert, right? How about those Epstein files? Trumpstein, right? Trump ain't worried about it, right? That was the thing about it. So this is basically what ended up happening, though. And a lot of them got that from who? Elon Musk. Elon Musk even said it. Elon Musk even apologized later, right? I believe it was a plan. And I believe that Elon Musk and Trump have always been friends, right? But they played into their trap and they trapped them, right? In order to get them to release the Epstein files, that's why Elon said it, because they knew Elon's voice would show weight. The Democrats would say, oh, Elon Musk say that? Yay! And that's where it happened. That's why they just repeating propaganda stuff. It was a trap in order to release the real Epstein files. Now that they have, Trump said, you know what? I will release them. And he released them. The grand jury has them. Y'all been played on the left. So when you come up here and say Trumpenstein, you've been played. Because you won't find Trump on that list. Guarantee that. You know what I'm saying? I put everything that I love on that because of that reason, right? That's for real. Can you do the same? Can you do the same? You are victims of propaganda once again. He tricked you. He got you. That was the reason. Because when it came down to it, right, the Dems demanded for the Epstein files to be released. And guess what? It was released, all right. And guess who has them? Grand jury, right? Whether you want to believe it or not. How can an FBI informant, right, be on the island, little St. James and all that, right? Trump was the man that brought Epstein down. That's why Epstein hated Trump. When Epstein found out that Trump turned him in, set him up, had Epstein or whatever and all this other stuff, when he found out that, damn, I got played by Trump, he's been working as an undercover FBI informant. And that's actually factually true. Even Mike Johnson, right? He even admitted it, right? Trump didn't want him to even come out with it that early, but that's the facts. And I know the people on the left, they're going to still run this stuff down. Because, ladies and gentlemen, who's been kicking their behind? We, right? That's why I tell my mods, listen, we have the advantage. They don't. That's why they got to come in this room, try to find some simpleton or some old weak mind fool to believe that Trump and Epstein and stuff. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. But getting back to my point, though, and I had to bring that up as an example, right? They have a nothing burger. They don't have anything. They got bigger worries to have to worry about, right? Like I said, we went over this with Obama and all the rest of them. Fauci is on the cuffs of being arrested for chemical, biological warfare against the American people. Yes, he is. Yes, he did, right? And we're going to start seeing more of them start to fall, man, as the case unwinds a little bit more, man. So once again, this is your boy, Tony Love, coming at you live with Some Random Guy Speaks. Once again, hit that subscribe button if you like my content, and also hit the like button and things. I want to give a shout out to all my mods on the mod squad for backing your brother up, and others that come on my live, man, like Dakota, man, and there's a few others on here and things. Jerry, Howie, and many of them, man. We got, man, I got so many people right now rolling with your boy and stuff like that. But yeah, man, y'all like that. I said I got to make this as a little backdrop, little coffee break. But hold on for a minute. I got to pull up something else. So we got the ladies up here, the ones that was taken early. I want to give a special acknowledgement again, because the lunatics on the left, they're not going to want to talk about it, right? And there's actually more than just 5, because I named a few others and stuff that actually deserves recognition. If you know any parents or know any people of these people, let them know that your boy here is giving them a special recognition, because they should be recognized, man. And these sick bastards on the left, you guys should be really ashamed of yourselves, man, because what you thought you were doing, I'm just got a bigger voice than you, and I got a bigger following than you do, a lot of them that come in here. So that's why they hate. That's why they're upset. That's why they can't spin the narrative, because I won't allow them. And this is what it's going to be. You're going to acknowledge these girls, or you can get out. It's just simple as that. You're going to acknowledge these girls here. That's exactly what it is. They didn't ask for this. It's because of Biden's and Kamala Harris' failed policies. And this is why these ladies are not here, or young ladies, is that you got 7-year-old, man. What's her name again? Let me go ahead and pull her up. It's a 7-year-old. I'm going to make sure that they remember her too. You're going to remember her every time you come in my chat room. You're going to remember them, man. That's for sure. Ivory Smith, right? Go ahead and put it down here. You know what I'm saying? This is what ended up happening with her, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it before I go on here. Hold on for one moment. Where's my thing at? Yeah. Boy, I tell y'all, man. And I appreciate you. Let me go ahead and put this in here. She was only 7 years old. There she is right here. This is a 7-year-old girl. See what's going on? They will not acknowledge this whatsoever. And this is the sad thing. They don't have to acknowledge it. We're going to acknowledge it until we run their behind right on out the room. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Right. And you're not going to spin it, though, KL007. We ain't talking about Epstein right now. You see what you try to do? You're going to keep it on the focus of these girls, or you can get out. It's just that simple. You ain't going to spin the narrative over here. How dare you? You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to spin the narrative. Nice try. You didn't have none of this smoke when Biden, that Epstein been around since Joe Biden. Before that, you didn't have nothing. You ain't said nothing. It was business as usual until Trump came around, right? Boy, I tell you, man. Yep. That's the thing about that, right? Try to spin that narrative, but you can't defeat it. That's the thing about it. You can say what you want, but you can't defeat it. That's the thing about it. Angela, child of God, I appreciate you so much, Angela, child of God, boy. She just sent me a super chat. Let me go ahead and read. Oh, there she go right here. Angela, child of God. Boy, hey, how you doing, Angela, child of God? Let me go ahead and do that little thing here for you. Well, oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, hold on. Got to do it. All right, this is $4 and $5. There you go, coming from Angela, the child of God. Prayers for the families of the victims of illegal criminals and democratic corruption, MAGA forever. I couldn't have said it no better, though, Angela, child of God, boy. I'm going to put that right there, boy. She always coming through on a pinch, you know. There we go. Angela, child of God, you know. Let me see here. What else here, though? I whoop these trolls behind. They are cowards. They don't have nothing for me on the debate with this type of stuff. You notice they always try to deflect. I just make them look stupid. They get mad. Look at them, you know. You got that right, too, Cutter. He said the libs are effing stupid. And these libs are really progressives, DSA people. Because moderates ain't this damn dumb and stupid. No, I don't believe that one. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, this is exactly what it is. But you're right though, because anybody that's swaying on the left, hanging out on the left, you know what I'm saying? And I appreciate the gold coin. I appreciate it. Let me put my one little. Hold on for a minute. Got to do the. There we go. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Bud Russell was in here. How funny. We have enough domestic nuts. You liberals want to import millions more. Yeah, just like with Spain. Man, Spain is in serious trouble. Anybody live in Spain that's in here? They have been overran, but they got Africans, Middle East. Man, they are being overran. They just there now. They have mass immigration in Spain. Man, boy, you don't want me over here in Spain. Let me tell you right now. Woo, man, I tell y'all, man. It's really sad, though, man. Spain is on the verge of being kicked out of NATO, and we know why. Because they're too far left, too far gone. They are pushing the plan of the parasitical globalist, right? Elitist. That's what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? Sanchez or whatever. He's the prime minister over there in Spain. He's nothing but a globalist himself, man. There's no surprise about that. Look at Spain. Spain is going to be like UK and all the rest of them, man. Spain is no more, man. If you guys want to go visit, you can go visit somewhere else because the history they got there is going to be destroyed, man. You bet if you're there now, you better be taking pictures right now, but it ain't a place you want to be at. Brian Reedy in the house, man. Brian Reedy, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Boy, I tell you, we got Brian Reedy in there. Sounds really good. Bud Russell, yeah. Glad to hear that, Eric. Let me see here. Just kind of looking down here. Angela, child of God. Erica, gonna be a lot more in custody. Ice, baby. He's got that right. There is gonna be a lot more, though, because they already got the budget. You know what I'm saying? They got the budget. But it's just sad. They can't deflect. They can't change it. You know what I'm saying? It's too late. It's too late. They got a lot of brown in Europe for real, in Spain, man. Spain has fallen, ladies and gentlemen. Spain has fallen. It's time for, where's my siren at, man? Because on a serious note, man, we got to go ahead and hit that air raid. This is a public service announcement. If you are a leader of a country, I repeat, a leader of a country, you may want to stop the illegal entry of these illegal aliens in your country. Yep, there we go. Had to sound the alarm. I had to sound the alarm, ladies and gentlemen, because this is serious. You want to believe the propaganda and stuff? Just look at the UK, look at Germany, France and Germany and them. They're worried. They say, oh, shoot, Spain falling. Oh, man, we can have the same thing happen to them. France can. Germany can. They can. Poland, I got respect for them. Poland said, no, we ain't going out like that. You think that Poland going to allow a bunch of Muslims in their country? There's already ones over there. They don't want them praying. They bum rush them, man. They beat them up and everything. They bum rush them over there in Poland, though. Shoot, I watched the thing on that. The Poles ain't playing, man. Going over there, they ain't playing around, man. They have to have their mosque in secret. And when they find out there's a mosque over there, I've seen it, man. It's not a good sign, though, man. It's not a good sign. Well, boy, you know what I'm saying? But this can be a chance with regards to Spain. I'm saying it's always possible. I never said that Spain was going to be kicked out, but it could be a possibility. It could be a possibility, though, you know, of them, because they're too far left. If they could plead a case, you know, if they could plead a case, because really, we should be pulled out of NATO, and we are going to be pulled out of NATO, you know. That's the thing about it. With the Trump, he calls another thing. It's called the League of the Shield of America. That's what it is. The Shield of America. It sounds really good. The Shield of America. Boy, that's a beautiful thing. I just love it though, man. You know what I'm saying? Boy, that is what's up. So Poland, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Poland, right? That is the one, ladies and gentlemen. Well, they ain't going out like that, man. They're not going out like that at all, man. So, like I said, though, man, it's a beautiful thing, boy. Right? But that's the thing about it, though. We have kicked Spain's behind. I am on board with Trump. Raise those tariffs up, and I think he's going to raise them up even higher, right? That's the thing about it, though. He's going to raise them up. And to my detractors, you have nothing for me. Once again, you run from real conversations, real arguments, right? And this is the best that you can do, right? You just like a little child over here. I've been kicking facts. I've been reading off information on your own DSA and your own communism, right? You notice they cannot defend against it. That's what I'm saying, though. They talk about everything but what is at hand, right? America is greater because of the tariffs. We have had tariff presidents, right, prior to. This is our third installment of the central bank that we call Federal Reserve, which we're going to get rid of that. I think one of these days I'm going to do one on the Federal Reserve, right? How this country had been overtaken by the Federal Reserve of 1913. And we're going to talk about it, though, ladies and gentlemen, because once we get rid of the central bank, and this is really the main crux, right? This is their power structure from the parasitical elite class, right? These aristocrats, these blue bloods that come out of Europe, right? That control, along with the agreement with what they have over here with the Rockefellers, right? And all the rest of them. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, once the central bank has collapsed, have been toppled, where we won't have to, we can mint our own money again, the 16th Amendment will have to be, let's say, changed, right? And reenacted once it has been changed, right? And this is what has to happen. Our children's children and future children, they will have to teach what is a central bank or a Federal Reserve. That way you'll know and be able to sniff out what it is. Maybe 40, 50 years down the line, they would be much more equipped to be able to fight against it. But right now, you got adults here that don't know nothing about the central bank. They don't teach about it in school. You would never learn about the Federal Reserve Bank, not in that way. The name federal doesn't mean that it's owned by the government. It's owned by private hands, which is called the international bankers. They never teach about international bankers, right? Can your boy cook? See what I'm saying? This is a problem. This is what we call a government takeover, right? Where they are the ones that are minting the cash. Once upon a time, the way that the Constitution was drafted, it was designed of the people, for the people, by the people. Now it's of the banks, for the banksters, and by the banksters. They are the ones that control presidents. They are the ones that control politics. They are the ones that control a lot of these people that you see from businessmen and others, right? To make sure they're all on the same agenda. When you talk about Committee 300, you talk about the other groups, the technocrats, Committee 300 and the Bilderberg group. They have these groups every 4 years. The Bilderberg group meet everywhere all over the world, and their agenda is about control, dominance, right? Control with rich international banksters at the top. See what I'm saying? So some of us may not know what these groups are, and some of us in this room know what it is. And this is why we are fighting for our lives, to make sure that we keep America free. Keep America, freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? And this is why we're giving them great push back, right? Boy, and that's the thing about it. And I'm glad that that the people that rock with your boy, that come in this room, come in this chat and things like that, where we have to talk about this stuff, because right now we are ahead. When they party, talking about the Dems, and a lot of the moderates, they allowed the party to be taken over by these progressive, far whacked out leftists and straight out socialist, communist people. And this is why they're going to lose in the midterms, right? Because all we have to do is look at their record of what they've been doing. My dummy is a blessing to a lot of us in this country, because the policies and things that he's been trying to do, he even wanted to arrest Nelson bin Yahoo, well, he wanted to arrest this dude, said he belonged in Hague, right? This is he said if he ever come here to New York, he's going to arrest him. Trump said no, he's not going to arrest him, because everybody know he doesn't have the authority to. And if he try to do that, he's going to violate an international. It's going to be it's not going to happen. All we got to know is it's not going to happen. But that's why they come in this room all salty and everything, because they know they don't have a leg to effing stand on. We got Stewart, 2004, man. Let me go ahead and acknowledge Stewart. Sorry about that, Stewart. We didn't even see you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Stewart, 2004. I see you, Stewart. He's a member too. Boy, his MAGA cap looks so good, doesn't it? But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we got the DSA lowdown communists on the run. They don't debate. They've been told by China to stay away from stuff like that. And we have them exposed like never before, ladies and gentlemen. It's out for everybody to see if they want to. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing, though. Ooh, I got me another super chat by Angela, the child of God. I'm going to go ahead and give you some acknowledgement. There it is right here, boy. Look at that. She says here, if you show up in November, Democrats, you are fired. Yeah, you got that right. They have been fired, though, Angela, child of God. They have been fired. We don't want them. We don't need them. They've been running this country right in the ground. They've been ripping off taxpayers, man. Everybody matters except for America. Not with Trump. America first, ladies and gentlemen. Who has your back? Trump and America First campaign and policies does, right? We've been kicking they behind, kicking them right in their ASS hard with the steel toe boots. I've been going up in their behind so deep. Brown come out when I come down off my foot. And they, you know what? They already know it too, boy. They ain't got nothing, though. They're like little babies. They my little man that come up in here, trying to deal with a grown man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that something? Boy, I tell you, they my little boys and girls, man. It ain't the other way of the ground. Who owned them? I do. I've been owning them ever since I had my channel running. That's the thing, man. That is what's up. That's why they could always, ladies and gentlemen, you know what they do, ladies and gentlemen? You know how sad it is? They can nitpick with little. It doesn't bother me, because ultimately I got a bigger voice. I got people that follow me in here, and it's all good. Once again, it's been another banger. Let me go ahead and bang on them just a little bit more, and then we're gonna go ahead and leave, right? No, there's no number to call. There's no number to call, because you know why? Because the Dems have demonstrated poorly, disrespectful in my room, and that's why I don't even give them the number no more. I don't even gonna give them no number, and I'm not gonna give them no platform to come up here. If you want to come up here, you got to pay me, right? Straight up. And it has to be a topic of my choice, right? We done with answering your questions. We got a midterms to worry about. That's why I got these girls up here for a reason and a purpose. You know what I'm saying? You either going to be agreeing with these girls, that Biden and Kamala Harris was a bad policy, why these girls are not here, or we don't have nothing to talk about. Straight like that. So get on my program or get off. Red Hood, man, welcome, man. Welcome to Red Hood. Man, that's what's up right there. Welcome. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not talking about Nolan Wells, though. They already went over that, man. Now, I'm not going to talk about Nolan Wells. I got something, and it's sad that he passed away, but no, I'm not covering Nolan Wells. Other people doing it. You got to go on Willie D. You got to go on Al Sharpton. You got to go on Benjamin Chump Crump. You got to go on those platforms if you want to deal with that. We got a midterms here. We talking about something here that can matter everything, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I know a little bit about it, but I won't discuss it. Yeah, I don't have to. You know, this is not a channel for that particular thing right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, you just mad because you can't come up here. That's why. That's why you mad because you can't come up here, right? That's all. That's why you say that. I was already on you anyway. I was gonna never allow you to come up over here. You know what I'm saying? You need to. If you ain't a slave, you should take that chain off your neck. That's the first thing, right? You just man, go back to the ghetto where you belong. Go back over there on Willie D and the Ghetto Boys. Ain't that where you go back over there? I don't know why you doing what you doing over here in the first place. This is way above you. I'm speaking way over your head. You know, this old ninja coming up over here. I know you're a ninja. You know, you don't even read anyway. That's why you don't know anything. The only thing you know how to read is rap lyrics. If you can do that. Get your behind out of here, man. We ain't trying to hear that nonsense coming from you. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I tell you, man, I done cooked this food real quick. Yeah. Want to get me trying to. See, that's what they did. They want you to die. What did I say they're going to do? They're going to come in here trying to get you to what? Deflect? They know we already in their behind, man. You know what I'm saying? In their behind. If you spam that one more time, you're out of here. Mods, where's my mods at? You know, the one with the gold chain on around his neck, you know? I'm watching because if he spam, he's out. If he spam, he's out. That's the thing about it. We already got you in the crosshairs now. Got you in our crosshairs. You ain't changing nothing. Who are you? You need to go back to the ghetto. That's where you belong, right? Boy, I tell you. Other than that, we're going to worry about these girls. We're going to talk about this because we have an elections. I know what I'm doing when I put these up. You know what I'm saying? This is why deport is happening, right? And things like that. So when things get better, ladies and gentlemen, that's the thing. Patrick, welcome back, man. You looking good with you and your baby. Is that a baby girl? Baby boy? Yeah, people love that, man. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, man. You know, he probably got children too. Make sure that your son and daughter ain't up here. That's why we voted for Trump. This is happening under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's policies. That's why these girls was up here, man. You got a girl as young as 7 years old. 7. Boy, but he just mad because he can't come up here. Boy, I tell you, man. Boy, I own these fools. Yeah. But other than that, man, welcome, Patrick, man, once again. You know, we going to take it to them on these midterms, and they know it. They don't have a leg to stand on, ladies and gentlemen, because their poll plan. And now that the people are finding out that when Mondami and them went over there to China and had that meeting, it can be much more clearer, though, right? It couldn't be much more clearer. They are done, ladies and gentlemen. It's just been a blessing, ladies and gentlemen. It's a blessing, right? It's actually a true blessing, the fact that they are done, ladies and gentlemen, because they accepted DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. I don't even like putting America with Democrat Socialists because it doesn't belong there, right? It doesn't belong there. These people, ladies and gentlemen, are nothing but abomination, right, to our way of life. And you know what abomination is, right? This is something that is unnatural, never been made by God. It's a sin in itself because these people are godless people and they hate America, right? We're seeing that every day. Bob says, diamond cut chopper, herringbone chain. Yeah, it looked like something like that, you know. Who was it? Jacob the jeweler designed it for him? Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Boy, I tell you. I just say, man, it's just all too easy, you know. Cal says, I raised 5 daughters safely, got rid of the illegals. I'm willing to protect other people's daughters also. That's what I want to hear, because this is what I've been talking about the whole time, though. How these policies under Trump is far superior than Biden and Harris in this particular sense, because we didn't have this before. This is some of them. She was young as 7 years old. And I'm glad you spoke up, because you look like you're a mother. So I'm glad, or, you know what I'm saying, you look like a mother, so you have to show, at least you show some type of concern, some type of sense of remorse, right? Because these other a-holes don't want to talk about it because they've been told to stay away from them. We already, because these other ones, they get their messaging and their plans by China. China telling them what to talk about and stuff to stay away from. Boy, I tell you, man. But yeah, though, so other than that, ladies and gentlemen, it's been good. It's been good. It's been good talking and cooking these low down DSA, all this other stuff, just hitting them with knowledge and facts. We talked about the 6 girls and stuff, man, and all that. Well, I mean, and since he brought up about, what's his name? Olin, since he brought the brother up, you know, Officer Tatum, right? Officer Tatum already met with the with Nolan Wells family, right? I mean, I'm sorry, met with the the white people that was with this guy. And Officer Tatum interviewed these people, right? I'm just gonna say this, I'm not going into deep with it. He interviewed them and had a conversation. If you want to know more about that, I suggest you to go watch Officer Tatum. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The so-called black, this consciously pro-black, so-called pro-blacks, they ain't pro-blacks, they just grifters. But they were outraged. They had death threats on Officer Tatum, right? Said that he should be taken out, right? Remember I told y'all not that long ago, I said the most racist people are black people because they are far more racist amongst their own. When you was talking about taking out your own, no wonder crime and black on black crime is 97%. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I tell you, man, it's almost at 100%, right? The statistics prove my point. You know what I'm saying? The most racist. If they don't like what you say, they're like in a cult, right? You have to say certain things to appease the masses of black folk, right? That's what they do. They get out on people that's outside thinkers, free thinkers like myself and Officer Tatum, right? You got others out there, right? So that is sad case, sad. He covered this case well. This guy, why didn't those other people, why didn't Willie D and them go over and talk to white folks? You know why? Because they were told not to. Don't talk to the white folks. Just talk to the parents and keep the pressure up so we keep getting this money. There's no profit in black liberation. And it's true. Because if that was the case, it would have been liberated a long time ago. Your own people is holding you down. That's why we say all skin folk ain't kinfolk, right? So that's, how about smoke that in your tailpipe, right? That's exactly what ended up happening. They never wanted to meet that dude. I mean, their family over there. I'm talking about the whites. They never interviewed the white people and their families. They never did. Officer Tatum did. That's why they're mad, because it destroyed the narrative of what they were trying to paint. They tried to paint this thing as a racist incident. They left. They ever said they stuck around and wanted to stay around. Ain't no sense to keep going in this, rehashing that. For what? Boy, I tell you, put that in your tailpipe and smoke it. There, you got that right, Black Hood. Yeah. Boy, I tell you, man. But other than that, though, guys, cooked them as usual. Nothing they can basically say, because Officer Tatum have all of the information. He did the research. I have no problems with Officer Tatum at all. You know, he went out there and took the initiative to meet with the people that was accused of doing something to Nolan Wells. At least he went out there, right? Boy, I tell you. But yeah, though, so that's the thing about it. They don't have anything, though. They just coming up in here. I defeated them once again, as I always do. I defeat them every day. We don't want to hear nothing they got to say on the left. They are a silent voice now. I make sure they stay silent. They would never come up here talking to me. That's for a fact. Patrick said, let's not worry about race crimes. Crime is a crime. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Well, whatever happened to him, it don't have anything to do with race, right? Understand your reasoning, but it doesn't help them understanding because they are delusional. You're absolutely correct, though, about that, Patrick, because they use race because race is a major divider and it's a moneymaker at the same time. Because look at the people in the so-called black community, right? So-called black leaders that push these agendas, like L. Snaketon and all the rest of them. There's a money thing involved with it. They always are like ambulance chasers. They always are looking at anything that they can exploit or ignite and turn it onto always race all the time, because you can't cure race, and they know this. That's why they keep pushing this BS agenda, right? And they lose a lot of people, right? Yeah. They did it with Joyless Reed. They got her show off the air. Nobody misses Joyless Reed. What's her name? Sunny Halston. She's on the verge, putting out the same message. Whoopi Goldberg, same message. You can only keep naming these people, right? They don't do anything to help the people. They don't, you ain't never seen any of them, right? And coming over here, going into the black community, spending on black people. They don't do that at all. They don't have to. But they can sit up here on their platforms and say how much of an injustice when it comes down to what happened with black folk or whatever like that. They will never, ever say these words. And I'm going to say them again. The number one problem in the so-called black community is accountability and responsibility. It always has been, always will be, right? It don't have anything to do with race or racism. It's about accountability and responsibility. If you were taught this, you would do better, right? If you knew better. But they don't know better because they've been taught racism. That's what hold me down. I can't get a job, whatever. They've been taught to hate whites and others. If you notice, more of these pro-blacks and all them, on the surface of it, they tell black folks, these underlings and followers and weak-minded people, that white people are the reason why black people don't have no wealth. When in actuality, it's the same people that tell them this are the same ones that's grifted on them and keeping them in a permanent underclass mentally. That's why they won't never tell them the truth and keep them chained to the Democrat Party, right? And keep them as a victim, right? A permanent victim class. So therefore they can never come up. That's the real truth, right? So other than that, that's why I told him, though, you want to have a ghetto mindset, you may as well go back to the ghetto, right? If you want to be above the ghetto, you would take accountability and responsibility. I was told by my mentor, the number one thing to get you out of your situation, when you take 100% responsibility of what has happened in your life. Many of them can't do it. Why? Because it's too simple. It puts too much responsibility on me as opposed to he. That's the reason right there. Boy, I tell you, thank you, Patrick. I appreciate it so much. He said you speak the truth. Thank you so much, Patrick. It's a victim mindset, right? And that's why these people that come up here with the guy with the gold chains and them, I've dealt with these so-called claim to be pro-blacks, these Willie D lovers and likers. Oh, you got Joe Mama in the house, boy. Joe Mama, not Joe Mama, Joe Mama. Shout out to Joe Mama. I know Joe Mama being a ninja listener too, boy. He be in the background though, listening, watching, watching. I gotta get that echo thing set up. I gotta physically do it. Watching. Red Hood says when Jennifer Hudson's family was murdered, Trump let her live. I remember that rent-free until she was able to get on her feet. Great point, Red Hook. In fact, what I'm going to do on my next pod, once again, my podcast, somewhere down the line, not just right now, maybe I may bring it up right now, because it all ties in. It all ties into with the midterms that we have going on. So I'm going to talk about all of the things that Trump has done for black people here in America. And we're going to start by breaking every one of them down. We're going to destroy the racist the points or the racist heading that they try to put on Trump, we're going to totally destroy it, right? We're going to bring up Jesse Jackson as well, too. We're going to go right down the list. So I hope you trolls and haters and TDS show up when I do that. Well, you'll know because I'm going to put it up there and things, and you'll get like an early reminder when I'm going to go on and post. And it's going to be a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go down through all of the things that Trump has done, right? And when it comes down to the First Step programs, pardoning blacks that was sent up the river, that were given a second chance, including Kwame Kilpatrick, Kodak Black, Wheezy, you know what I'm saying, and others, man. We're going to talk about this stuff, man, because it's important. We're going to talk about how Trump received the NAACP award. We're going to talk about all this stuff, the historical black colleges and how much money he donated to these establishments, man. We're going to totally destroy the racist myth about Trump. So you want to stay here for that, right? That's what we do. We hit them with knowledge. We hit them with the facts and policies that have benefited everyone here in America, man. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait to do that, though, you know. And then once again, they won't defend against this. They can't. See here, Lynn Marie says, I want details. 99.99% murders are done by white males. That is this misconception there, Miss Lee Marie. You're reading statistics from the dirty books that the demo rats, they've been cooking those books for a long time. What you don't realize is that reason why those numbers, they put those numbers out there and say that whites are more the killer than black, because when people come into this country, they classify people as being white. So you have other minority groups, even Africans, to my understanding, that's classified as being white as well. So they push it to push those numbers, to screw those numbers. Those books, those statistics that you're reading are totally cooked, fabricated numbers. It's not the real numbers and things. So, and I can go into more detail to present to you those actual facts in some time. I can pull them up. But I'll do it later. But what you're putting out is the propaganda machine that they want you to think, that they want you to believe, right? I am black myself, and I can tell that truth. Shit, every day I see it. I mean, every day you look around some type of homicide and murder when it comes down to black on black. Do you realize statistically, I have a chance, like everybody else black, have a chance, black guy, many of us have a chance of statistically being deleted by our own group of people than any other group. Facts. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be in the hood to experience that, right? So, yeah, what you're putting out is propaganda. It's not true. Other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, so other than that, boy, I tell you, man, we are really good. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off because I got to get back to work. You know what I'm saying? I got to get to work. But other than that, though, man, I appreciate you guys for showing up, coming on. Some random guy speaks. Once again, I'm your host, Tony Love, you know, and we have cooked them today, talked about the difference between socialism, the socialist Marxists, and how it intertwines with communism, man. And it would happen right here on this channel. And I appreciate it, though. And also, they have a lot of help, being their big money backers like China, you know, CCP, China. I appreciate it, Black Guy 9. Tony, facts, Tony. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, you know. So anytime you want to come in here and want to smoke, it's all good, you know what I'm saying? We'll give them the smoke and much more, you know. Boy, I tell you, man. But, yeah, it's been good, though, man. I appreciate coming in this room and stuff, and we've been knocking it out the park. They run from real topics. They want to divert, deflect, as I said yesterday, just like today. That's why I keep this stuff up. Coconuts are real. I appreciate you, too, man. You know, as always, thanks for the show, Tony. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, though, man. It is a good thing, man. You know, yep. And this is another point that I talk about. We got Black Jesus back in the house or whatever like that. He wants to, and see, with the Andrew Tate thing and all this other kind of stuff, you know, and how they try to associate this thing with MAGA. Because in their mind, this is not anything to do with that. this is something to say, hey, look, it's like the Epstein file. To them, it's a scandal. To us, it's not a scandal, right? I never even talk about the guy, Andrew Tate. I'm not really a big fan of him, per se. I'm just not. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the cockiness and arrogance, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be able to take dealing with somebody in that in person, you know? I only got one daddy, you know what I'm saying? And he's a little man compared to me because I'm older than he is. Anything, he show some respect to our older people and stuff like that. They've been on the planet longer. So I don't got time for that cockiness stuff like that. That's the reason, one of the reasons why I don't like him, you know? Does he say some pretty interesting stuff? Absolutely. But he's just not my cup of tea person. Like, we're going to be hanging out with each other. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear that Jigsaw. I mean, yeah, I've never been a fan of him myself. Yeah, I've never been a fan of him. But that's okay, though, you know? He say some interesting stuff. But, I mean, that ridiculous thing, yeah, you want to interview me, you got to bring me chocolates. As a man, I would never bring another man chocolates. It was one guy that was a brother that went over there to Romania and brought him some chocolates. I thought that was kind of strange, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, buying another man chocolates. You know what I'm saying? What the, you know what I'm saying? No, it ain't gonna happen. Nope. That's the thing. So other than that, watch them, and you've been reading it. They would deflect. Before I go, they'll bring up other topics, but not the topics at hand. That's why I don't address them anymore. You will be dealing with what I have up here, right? Because of Biden's and Kamala Harris's policies. The reason why these 7 girls and more are not here. There was one as young as 7 years old. May I remind you what her name is again? Let's go ahead and bring it up, because I want these people to know. And you're going to have to wear this for the rest of your life. Her name was Ivory Smith, and she was 7 years old. And she was killed in a crash in Texas involving a Venezuelan immigrant, alien, that should have never been in this country. I knew a guy that was a friend of mine that was murdered similar in a car crash. He was out there on his bike, and this guy was drinking and driving out there at night. And you already know what ended up happening. So this is like a personal vendetta for me, right? That's exactly what it is, though, you know. So other than that, they will never deflect against this, right? They're just wasting their time because I won't read it. We're going to deal with what's at hand, and we're going to always be dealing with MAGA, things that support this country, America first topics only in this channel. This is a MAGA channel. This is not your channel, and you do not have the right. You can say whatever you want, but it won't be addressed, and you're wasting your time, right? And if you want something to be addressed, you got to pay me, right? And I'm not talking no little money either. It's what I decide of what the money amount is for you come up here and want to talk to me. Hope your pocket's as long as your mouth, right? Because other than that, it ain't going to get aired and nobody's going to see it. That's why I'm kind of glad that I got this thing set up the way it is right now, because unless if I post it where people can read it and see what people say, it won't be shown. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Let them crash out on here. That's cool. And this Cheeky D, he just used the F word. Go ahead and boot him out of here, Black Guy 9. We're talking about check your 66. The one is the phony Black Jesus, phony Jesus or whatever. Get him out of here, you know, because he should know better. You know, pretty soon I'm going to put a ban on you because you've been up in here before. What's my rules? You just going to think you're going to come in here and wipe your feet on my carpet? You're not going to do that. Go ahead and bounce him up on out of here. Yeah, go ahead and get him up on out of here, man. Get him on out of here because he ain't bringing nothing to the table. Anybody that want to hit him first, I appreciate it. And also do like what Black Guy 9 said. Hit that like button, you know. Yeah, because we ain't going to tolerate no disrespect in this room whatsoever. Ain't going to be no swearing, no cussing, no cashing out. We ain't going to allow that. No, right? Won't happen. See ya, fake Black Jesus. Wouldn't want to be you, you know? All right. So other than that, I'm about to get ready to head on out, guys. I'm going to head on out of here. Got to go to work, but give yourselves a round of applause. It's been real good. Yeah, they spiraling out of control, man, crashing out like they always spiral out of control and crash out because they can't handle the truth, Boy, I tell you. But you guys have been great, though. I appreciate it, though. We got the message out, right? What they were trying to stop, we were able to persevere, and we did it in record time. And I'm saying we're going to start doing that. Make sure we take the time away. We're not giving them no time. No time, no more, right? That's the reason why. You guys as a mod, you ain't got to be over here answering everything they say. Make them answer your questions, and that's going to be the rule, too. You got to, if a mod asks you a question, if you oppose Trump, if you answer the mod's questions, because other than that, it ain't going to go no further. And with me, it ain't going to never get no shine up here because I'm going to make sure I don't talk about it. We talk about the stuff that we want to talk about, right? So how about that? We run this. This is the MAGA channel, and it's being ran by me and the mods. How you like that, right? And others that back this message, right? Because like it is, we already decided to take this country back. We're gonna win in these midterms. We're gonna save the elections, though. Everything is gonna be all good. And deport, ice, baby. And I love it, boy. Don't you love it? That beautiful thing. I appreciate it. So, I appreciate it.
Thank you for the likes.
Yep. Thank you for the likes. Yep. Salty Savage, you're a joke. Oh, man. Yeah, they coming here all crashing out and stuff, man. I tell you, though, they upset, though, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I cooked them, Angela, child of God, as I always do. They're mad because their conversations and their topics won't get answered no more. They won't run the gotcha question stuff no more, I let it go on for a while, but I said, no, we're changing the format. That ain't going to happen no more. You got to deal with what we got going on over here. Nobody told you to come in here anyway. If you don't like me, like my channel, you always can go to someone else. You got all these liberal line channels on here. Why don't you go on there and be an echo chamber over there? They're far worse, like Santana Jones, right? You say anything about Trump, he go ahead and block you. He'll block you for 24 hours. Block. Right? I know, right? Because it has happened to me. Oh, man, it's so good. But I appreciate y'all, man. Let me go ahead on and put up the Star Spangled Banner, man. I'm going to keep the girls up with the beautiful American flag in the back. Keep it real, brother. I appreciate you, Cal. I appreciate it. You know what, Cal? I appreciate, where's my little saying? I appreciate you. That's something I do for all the ladies. I appreciate you for acknowledging, because like you said, you got daughters of your own, right? And I appreciate you for, bringing that up to back me up on this thing. And anybody else that have children will be, they wouldn't be insensitive. They'll be sensitive to these girls up here. It was more than 6, actually. And one as young as 7 years old, boy. 7 years old, and things. Her name was Ivory Smith. She was 7 years old. She was hit by a illegal person from Venezuela, man. You know what I'm saying? There that is. So let me go ahead and get that up here. For you guys, hold on for a minute. We got the American anthem to show. There we go. Let me go ahead and take this down and stuff. There we go. Go ahead and remove that. All right, let me see here. There we go. There we go. Yep. But I appreciate you guys for being a part of something good and real. And this is Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, once again, Tony Love, you know what I'm saying? And I got a lot of love for you guys that's showing up today, This is the official MAGA America First channel, right? Where here, all we talk about is policies, topics, and conversations, right? That make America great again, right? Right here. We do not acknowledge the naysayers. We do not answer the questions anymore because they don't answer our questions. That's why they started this war. We did not, but we're going to finish it. And that we shall. Once again, give yourself a round of applause for rocking with your boy. They're salty, crashing out. They don't have the narrative no more because they lost that privilege. And if it mean to you that bad, then you got to pay me, You know my email down there below. Use that and things. But other than that, and then one thing I got one more thing I got to say. Hold on for a minute. We got the fake Facebook, And I put the link down before too. There it is, some random guy. Here it is right here, right? So if you can do me a solid, you can follow me on Facebook where it says some random guy channel. Wait, one person followed, somebody follow me. Would you do me a solid? If you like my content and if you have Facebook, go on here and if you want, you can follow me here on Facebook. You'll see my logo. You'll see some random guy speaks because I'm going to be pushing content over here as well too. So this would be another source, right? And then I got a few other ones. I'm on Rumble. I'm on Kick, right? I'm on, what's the other one? I'm on One Real Quick Kick, Twitch. That's it. I'm on Twitch as well, right? Soon to be on Facebook. Instagram, I'm on there too. I really don't push content on Instagram, but I'm on these other ones though. Soon I'm going to be on TikTok, right? We're going to cover all of them, right? We're going to have the voice that's going to travel even more, where the numbers are going to get bigger, right? Because I'm working on it offline. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you. You know you'll see my channel because you got the big, beautiful flag here. And some of you are returning guests, right? And I appreciate you for showing up. The goal is this right here, ladies and gentlemen. Once Trump and the administration is finished, the Western Hemisphere, right? All of this is going to be the Americas, right? The shield of America. All of this is America. Boy, is that a beautiful thing once we get done with it, right? This is going to be the ultimate goal right here. The shield of America, ladies and gentlemen. Let nobody else tell you otherwise, right? Go run and tell that on the left, you low down commies, right? This is the future. This is the new world order, right? This is the Americas, the shield of America, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, I just love it, don't you? You got the Gulf of America and the shield of America. Ain't that a beautiful thing, man? This is posted by Women for Trump. I follow her. I love her stuff. Yep, Women for Trump, you know? And these are conservative women. They're much better looking than those liberal ones. Yep, conservative women for Trump. Boy, ain't that something, boy. That is it. Yeah, we are way out and we are winning, ladies and gentlemen. Just let that marinate, right? So other than that, this is my channel here on Facebook. Yep, that way we can get others on here and get this room, get this thing, and I got to get that Discord thing finished. But yeah, other than that, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. We got an election. We got a country to save, right? And we're doing a very good job of it because we're far out ahead. The Dems are underwater with this DSA crap, Democratic, Socialist, Communist stuff. They sealed their fate, though. We ain't going to let them sprout legs here. And Mondumi having that stupid secret meeting, I don't think it was secret. He met over there with China, though. He's cooked anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing about it. Keep making the dumb stuff, dummy. You stupid dummy, Democrat dummy, right? And the Zoran, my dummy, use a dummy, and all the rest of them, right? Oh, my goodness. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Here where we cook them over on the left. We cook the Democrats, Socialists, commies. We cook them every day. We cook them in the pot like gumbo, right? On slow, right? Make sure those legs don't grow no more. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what we do, man. You know what I'm saying? Boy, how did Pac say it? I'll make sure that my fofo don't make your, what's the name, grow no more, right? Oh, man. You think you the mob? We the mob. You know what I'm saying? How he said, shoot. You know what I mean? Boy, I tell you, man, we multiply and quadruple. I wish I had my echo, you know what I'm saying? I need to have that echo. You know, that's what I need, boy. Well, I said like when Pac got changed the words a little bit, you know? Because that's what it is, though. We running this. You ain't running nothing, right? You are little man. We ain't your little man. You are little man. We tell you what to do, right? That's what it is, though, right? And we running, right? Because we already have taken back this country, right? You are just a squirrel in our world, you know what I'm saying? We don't have to listen to y'all on no level, right? There you go, right? Can't even answer simple questions, right? Because you's a coward, right? Exactly, right? There you go. That's what it is, though. Ladies and gentlemen, we cooked them once again. Cooked them. They wasn't so bothered with what I had to say, they wouldn't be in here, though, man, you know. Go and run like the jackals and the cowards you are, you coward, right? Get to stepping. Get to stepping, yeah? Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, boy, you know it was going to be some cooking at the end, though. Facts, straight facts. They party got jacked by the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America, right? And they are cowards, and they didn't scared to fight back on their own party. Oh, no, you know what I'm saying? Too late for that. We don't need no party. The only party we have is the Republican Party. Facts, right? How you like that? You know what I'm saying? How you like that? Boy, I tell you, man, But yeah, guys, if you could do me a solid, if y'all like my content, hit and destroy that like button, would you please? And also hit the subscribe button, because over here, I don't hold back on those DMs. I go after them hardcore every day, showing you how much of them being wussies and sissies, right? They don't like or they can't handle any of the truth here. This ain't no little boy club. This is the big boy club over here. Boy, I tell you. And even with the ladies, right? We got more conservative women, right? That show their face, let you know who they are, right? That rock with your boy as well too, right? I tell you, man, we are going to get the rest of those voter rolls. Boy, they in trouble. They in trouble. Where's my thing at? You know, y'all know they in trouble, don't you? You already know.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
You got that right, though, right? So other than that, share this information with your friends, your family, and your loved ones, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I will be back for another banging, right? Stream, right? I'm gonna start doing some more shorts and stuff and videos as well. I appreciate you guys, you know, right? Conservative women are fine too. Conservative women, there's some moderate women that are fine too. It's the liberal ones I cannot trust. No, you know what I'm saying? Can't do the purple hair, can't do the green hair, can't do all that tattoos and stuff. We already know what that's gonna lead up to. Nope. You are great. Liz, I appreciate it, Liza. Liza? Yeah, Liza over here. Yeah, I appreciate you. Let me go ahead and put her up. Boy, got another conservative woman. So I told y'all, conservative woman rock with your boy here. Look at her. Yep. You are great, is what she says. And you are great, too, just for coming on here and rocking with your boy. Conservative women love what? They love family and home, right? And their children, right? As they should, right? And they are followers, right? A lot of them are Christian, right? Mostly, you know what I'm saying? They love God and country, their husband and their family. You can't get a better combination than that, right? This is why you conservative women rock. Let me give you some acknowledgement. Hold on for a minute, because you know they hate it, right? All we do is cook their behind on the left. We cook them in gumbo. Boy, I tell you, But yeah, though, I appreciate you coming on here. Look at her photo. Let me go and post her up one more time. That's a conservative woman here. You always see all the conservative women, you know? You had Cheryl Schultz, Texas, Jane, Dana, and Denise Farmer. You had so many of them. These are conservative ladies over here, right? You have Tanya Zingerman, you know what I'm saying? All of them. There's a lot of women on here, man. They come on here. Deja Porter, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Deja Porter. Yeah. Boy, we got Patrick. We love God in these angels. You right about that. We love God in these angels. And these are angel babies here, too, that I've been acknowledging on my channel, man. These are angel babies. Not that I don't acknowledge, you know what I'm saying, what's the name, Nolan Wells, man. You know, whatever happened, it was sad. But thing about it is, he will be up here, too, had his life would have been taken by the illegals. We're talking about something that it just should not have happened. It just shouldn't have happened. That's what we're talking about, right? Shouldn't have happened. But other than that, let me go ahead and get on out of here, boy. I have cooked them. They are big mad at your brother. But what's new? They're always mad at your brother, you know? You just can't stop facts. Can't fix stupid, right? But I'll be back tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Be there or be square. It's been real, boy, been real. I enjoy it. I enjoy this, though. I'm a patriot, you know, just like a lot of you guys are. I love this country, man, and I vowed to protect it, man. That's what being patriot, that's what being a patriot is all about, right? You know, boy, I tell you, don't you love it? Boy, America, 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 God shared his grace on me, right? Exactly, man. God shared his grace on me and you too. A lot of good came from you because you lived in America, you know? You can't live in another country other like America. It's the greatest country in the world, man, where you got no censorship, but you got speech, freedom of speech, something that the deep state and the parasitical global elite class been trying to take from you, right? Look at it. Even China, they don't believe in no freedom of speech. They got their people around there docile, slapping them upside the head, watching them with the camera. They always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. You remember that? Rockwell, you know? When I'm in shower, I'm afraid to wash my hair because I may find the CCP might be standing there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's the truth, though, boy. It's the truth, boy. But that's the truth. This is exactly what it is. Yeah, right, goddamn Rockwell, which I know about that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's watching me. Boy, you know, they had Michael Jackson on that hook, remember? Oh, man, that was a great song, too. Rockwell, you know, boy. I wonder who is going to be next. Who? The IRS? You know, they're always watching you. Yep. Yeah, boy, I see you and you see me. Yep. You don't know about that. You don't know nothing about that Hall and Oates. Daryl Hall and John Oates together, they formed Hall and Oates from from Philadelphia. Boy, that was bad too. Those was bad boys right there, boy. Those bad white boys right there. And I love music, especially in the 80s too, man. It was good stuff. Yep. But other than that, guys, I got to really go, man. I've done enough entertaining for the day. Stick around for tomorrow where it's going to go down again. Peace and chicken grease. I am officially out. You know what I'm saying? We have cooked these fools, boy. We have cooked them, and they know they mad about it. Look at it crashing out. It's at Go Pinder. I don't think he showed up today. Brother, you taking me way back. Now, I know, Cal, right? I'm taking you way back, you know? I got to bring it up, you know, Rockwell, you know? I know a Generation Xer when I see one, right? Boy, that was the jam here. I wish I could play it. Somebody's watching me. Boy, I tell you. And I have no privacy. That's what the CCP China want to do. Right? Just like they watching their people, boy. They got them under control. They even got that, you can't even pull up certain sites. They censorship is big time galore. You can't even pull up certain YouTube stuff. It's the truth. Boy, I tell you, man. Yeah, but China is kind of but right now they just under extreme communism, man. That's the thing about it. But yeah, Gen X though, Patrick, I know you too. I know Gen Xers when I see Gen Xers, man. Gen X, boy. We was the greatest generation, boy. Joe Mama is a Gen X, right? Gold was here in a minute. Oh, I miss Gold. Gold Pindar. I wanted to mention that. I miss Gold Pindar. Oh, man. Gold Pindar, man, if you are listening, man, is Paula a Generation Xer? I wonder if this Gold Pindar is, man, Gold Pindar, I missed him. Man, I like Gold Pindar, man. I want to put his face up. I want to let the ladies know, too. And ladies, Gold Pindar is single. He has a job. He's in the tech. He's a level 3 cellular phone technician, you know, and that's a lot, especially in over there in Pakistan. You know what I'm saying? Salty said Generation X. He got the middle. Hey, Salty, don't feel salty. You ain't got to crash out, my man. You know what I'm saying? We just know more than these other generations that's under us and things like that. Man, I'm telling you, man, Gen Z, man, they like the worst generation that we ever produced, man. It's sad, but it's the truth. Gen Z, Gen Z is the worst, man. They don't read. They're totally ignorant to a lot of things, though. It's just amazing, man. That's why we got to fix this, y'all. Generation X's, we got to fix it. Because and then Gen Alpha is already here already, man. If we don't fix this, we're going to be like that movie, Idiocracy. I can actually, remember that with Ted Cruz? I watched that movie, right? The makers of King of the Hill, right? You guys, man, we got to fix this thing, man. Because the generation under us, which is millennials, these are a bunch of idiots, right? They don't like to work. They're lazy. You know, every little thing upset them, right? They believe in these safe spaces, a whole bunch of antisocial type of people behavior, incels and all. We got to fix this stuff, man, because they don't have a clue. They didn't do what we do. We was out there getting it going. Man, we had it going on with Generation X. Y'all know we played until the street lights came on, right? We was hanging out on the roofs, seeing the stars at night, boy. We had girlfriends and dating and all kind of stuff. I remember it like it was yesterday, man. We wasn't sitting up here watching no damn computer or no online. We wasn't doing that. We was out here for the real stuff. Ain't that something, boy? It's just produced a bunch of idiots for the most of them, man. Hopefully, man, we can better work on this new generation. It's too late for the the Gen Z. Too late for them, man. They gone. They worse than the millennials, man. They are worse, man. Try talking to one of them when you go into these fast food spots. They be looking at you like you from the moon, man. Oh, my goodness. Bud Russell, I appreciate you, Patrick. Black Guy 9, you know. Drink water out of your house, of your hose. Yeah. I got to go, though, for real, though, guys. I got myself a bottle of water, too, man. But other than that, I see you guys tomorrow, man. What we do, we'll cook them like we always cook them, right? Every day. I've been talking so much and got thirsty. Other than that, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Time for the Star Spangled Banner. Stick around. And don't forget to get on here and follow me on here as well, too. All I need is 10. You guys are more, you guys. Come on and follow your boy. Follow your boy, man. I appreciate it. We'll go ahead and pull this up. All right. Star Spangled Banner time. Oops. Let's play it again. Star Spangled Banner. Oops. Hold on for a minute. Thought I had that on cue. Come on, Tony. There we go, guys. Got it paused here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and chicken grease. I'm out.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes